Council.
The position you are sitting,
you
are legally minded. The panel you are talking about was composed of the military, the police, and other service personnel. I think probably you might train yourself with the syllabus. It is not a rule that every soldier is taught about the law.
General, the problem is you are personalizing the issues I'm raising. It's not about you. My suggestion is not that you, Tombong Tamba, you did something. What I am saying is the failure of the state to do what it is required and obliged under the law to do. It is bigger than you. This is all the entire law enforcement and security apparatus of the state sitting together. And it deliberately violated the rights of Gambian citizens. Like they have violated yours. This is what we are talking about.
Council, I am seated here. Then ask me questions that will concern me as a former serving member of the military.
But that is what we are doing. What we are saying is you sat there as CDS together with heads of the police, together with heads of the NIA, without any regard to the laws of this country. Because what you're saying is you did not know that that is what the law required. But I am telling you that the state cannot plead ignorance of the law. Mansa can say that he didn't know the law. Mansata was put together. You represented Mansa Kunda. The panel represented Mansa Kunda.
And so I think I've told you that the military don't have that deep background as long as the law is concerned. I would suggest that some of the members who might have the opportunity to visit this commission. Issues that us in the military, we are not conversant with the law. So therefore, I cannot talk on those questions you are asking. Unless those from the
I understand that Tamsir Jase also asked for a lawyer. And that was denied. Let's move on.
That's all I've said it here. So even if Tamsir says that, I've already given a response to that. And
General,
did he mention that in his statement? Because it's very important that he mentions in his statement that he requested for a legal representation and he wasn't given.
General.
I'm trying to raise an issue, so that the commission can take note of that. If he says that he requested,
General, the evidence that I bring before this commission should not be based on the statement of one single witness. Okay, I base my everything on the body of evidence that is in our possession. What we do is we put out the issues to the person
Nkamenke wala nyinde ko nyinga findin le ngalandi amari nyakoto.
And give the witness the opportunity to respond to
yana silo di o sedo nyinna pour ay jabiro ke o kuma kangolla.
If you cannot remember that happened,
Ni hakilo ta mutana ko nyinketale.
Or you do not accept that it happened,
Waranto ni na ray mai ibalanta le ko manke.
Or you agree that it happened,
Waranto ay d'accord le ko aketale.
Just tell us.
Afanyendro.
All right. And what I am trying to do here is that this country has laws. And we want to be a country ruled by the law. And not a country that is just ruled by men doing whatever they wanted. This is why I am bringing these things out. I am showing that the system that was in place violated the rights of people, including your own rights. Much as it is reassuring for you to sit there and accept that your rights were violated, it would be equally the same for other people the violation of whose rights would be acknowledged here. So that is what we are trying to do. So it is not necessarily to do. I'm trying to expose a system of rights violations, no matter how basic those rights are. That is what we're trying to do. So, and in so doing, I want to show that the state cannot plead ignorance of the law. Okay, so let's proceed.
And so, if you said the state cannot plead the ignorance of the law, like I said, that is why this commission is here. Those wrongs can be put to the state. It's not for me, to put that to the state. In fact, that was why I told you. At that time, I never knew. Now that I heard it from you, because I was not legally minded. Yes, so I know that the state has failed in that area.
Thank you very much. I think the issue could have been over long since if you had just acknowledged that, well, you know that the state has failed in that area, and then we proceed.
Council, this is not a law of court. This is an inquiry. Whereby we cannot all the time be having answers of yes or no. Where I'm sitting, allowed to dilate further.
Well, definitely, you cannot say that you have not been given the opportunity to answer questions.
General,
you have been given ample opportunity. Some questions just require yes or no. And
so you'll agree with me, those that require yes or no, I've been saying that.
Let us proceed.
Thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
That is the fact.
And there was an instance
Where
work and pretend that you were tortured. That is what you said earlier.
That I was removed from my cells in the Mile 2 prisons. And I was taken away. I was taken towards the Bond Road. In those swamps. Was asked to sit on the floor. Then somebody dressed in that jungle uniform placed the gun on my head. But I didn't say anything. He asked me of my involvement in the coup. I stood by my initial statement that there was no planned coup.
Ko kudeta Fereman City.
And I was not involved in any coup that was planned.
Andunda mantara ku fereto fere kude me yalonko ya fero feuja.
Because there were threats.
Silandiro luketalde.
That if I don't speak the truth,
Nimmanto nyafo.
The bullet will be released on my head.
But
my response was, yes, I'm ready for that. That I would prefer to die than to tell lies of a coup that never happened. It's happened that there was one soldier who was not dressed in Jongula uniform, whom I recognized. I could hear him shouting at this particular Jongula, stop what you're doing. He walked to where we were. And of course, that was how I was able to recognize him. He was Sehu Jallo. Sehu was an orderly at the State House when I was there. So he's a soldier I know. He shouted at the Jongula to stop that. And then I was told to get up, led to the car where the car was parked on the highway. There I met Bobaji. The whole Bobaji also was brought in there through a different vehicle. And at that time, I could recognize one of the Jongulas, Nuabaji. Then we were told to board the vehicles. Each of us boarded the vehicle that brought us. But I could hear them communicating with somebody. And I could hear them informing that they were heading to the NIA headquarters. From the Bond Road, we had driven to the NIA headquarters. On arrival, suddenly we met Bojang, what's the name? Solo Bojang. He was waiting outside. Of course, he exchanged words with them, which I didn't hear. And then what happened was, and of course, I was the first to be led. And of course, what Solo told them was for us to be tortured. But like I said earlier, those Jongulas, they knew that our allegation of a planned coup was false. So even if they are given instruction to torture us, they wouldn't do. The reason they took us upstairs that night was to be tortured. When we reached the conference hall, I was the first to be taken before Bobaji. What they did was, they had, of course, some sticks or batons, I'm not sure. They started hitting the tables. They said they will hit the tables so that if Solo Bojang hears that, he will feel that we have been tortured. That was what they do. And before we left, those Jongulas advised us that when we are coming down the stairs, we should be limping as if we suffered that torture. And of course, they don't want Solo to notice that we were walking normal, meaning that nothing was done to us. So certainly we complied. When we were getting down the stairs, walking towards our vehicle, we were limping. And certainly when we reached the mile, after they took us back to the Mile 2 prisons, that was the same impression we saw there, as if we were tortured. That was why in the cell number 1 where I stayed, all that I pretended that we were being tortured. So my colleagues there, I had certain file before this commission
that
I was being tortured seriously. It was as a result of this. I also had the prison officers say that I was tortured to the extent that I couldn't walk. I want to set on record here that they might have made a mistake. That wasn't me. There was no particular time that I was tortured that I could not walk. I had their testimony right away that there we stayed. I even pretended getting some treatment such as massage. But in real sense, I was never tortured.
Quite an interesting story. This whole tortured.
Certainly, because otherwise he'll be mad with the junglers that he gave them instructions and they didn't carry them out. It was the junglers themselves who advised us to adapt that working style.
When you left Mile 2, when you left the NIA and arrived at Mile 2, Solo Bojang was convinced that you were tortured, correct?
Solo Bojang was not at Mile 2.
No, I'm saying
at the NIA downstairs.
Yes. So you left NIA adopting a posture of people who were already tortured, correct?
That is correct.
At that stage, did Solo appear convinced that you were tortured?
That is what I want to believe. Because he never asked them again. Just told them to put us in the car and take us back.
Let me finish. So up to the time you arrived at Mile 2, your mission of bamboozling Solo was accomplished.
Certainly, that was why even some of our inmates they thought that we were tortured.
But let me ask my question. Okay. What I can't understand is, having achieved that objective with Solo Bojang, why was it necessary to carry on that posture at the end at the Mile 2 prison to the extent of going for medical checks and all that when you know that nothing had happened to you? Why was it necessary?
Council, I never mentioned that I went for a medical checkup. I never said so.
Yes, you did.
That I went for a medical checkup after that alleged torture.
Yes, you did. You told us,
yeah. If I did so, then it's an error from me. We never went for medical checkup. Probably you can recall my statement. I cannot remember saying.
Yes, you said you asked for medical checkup. You did say so. You did say so. You did say so.
I cannot remember that part.
All right, but it really wouldn't matter.
So we were at the Mile 2. And one day, I was removed from my cell, the NIA, with the purpose of to torture us. But the same trend followed. The junglers briefed us that they will not torture. They'll be hitting the table as usual. So that, because Solo was downstairs that day too. So that Solo will feel that we have been tortured. And that was what they did.
General Mudugay, in his statement, has confirmed that. But
can you read Moduge's statement again?
said,
I could remember Moduge saying that there was a day he was tortured.
Yes.
But another day he was taken with me.
Yes.
We were not tortured.
Yes.
If you bring the Quran, I can swear we were never tortured. But that day.
I am telling you that Moduge confirmed exactly what you have said.
Okay.
But like you have said, on other days he was tortured.
Those days I didn't go along with him. So I cannot speak on that. Something happened, they were hitting the tables. Those junglers, they knew that the allegation against us was false. That was why they were not cooperating with them to talk.
Thank you. Thank you very much, General. You would agree that the system in place had an arrangement to have you tortured. True or false?
And so certainly that was why we are taken to the Bond Road area.
You could just say yes, or you could just say no.
And I think I have confirmed that already. And that the purpose was to kill us that day even. But it was through Sehu Jallo's intervention that it was averted.
Exactly.
And of course, we were brought, I said that again, we were brought to the NIA with the sole purpose of torturing us. I think I've answered that.
General, you have said all that. So if I ask you the simple question, that the system was organized in a way that you were to be tortured, you could simply say yes. We did not have to repeat everything else that you have said before. Please cooperate with me in that way so we can make progress.
Council, I fully cooperated with you.
Okay,
I am aware that this is not a court proceeding. This is an investigation. I know in a court procedure, most of the answers have to be yes or no. But in such a situation, I have to give an explanation so that the commissioners have a detailed aspect.
General, if you want to play it that way, by all means indulge yourself. It does not help anybody. It's just a pure waste of our time, and it's not necessary. But I would indulge you because I want you to be satisfied that you have said what you want to say. But in the process, you will realize the futility of this approach, but let's go ahead. The system was designed in a way that you were to be tortured. You were sent to Bond Road, you were sent to the NIA to be tortured. Is that true or that is false?
I think that is what I already explained, Council.
It is true.
Council, I have given a detailed explanation of what happened. Mostly, the reason why they took us there is to torture us. So it's obvious.
So why are you therefore unable to accept that the system was designed for you to go and be tortured? Why are you having a problem accepting that?
Council, I believe that is for you to draw conclusions from what I have said.
General, we are asking you from what you experienced, the system that was in place was included to take you to places and have you tortured.
And so whether a system in place or not, I was taken to be tortured.
Thank you very much.
That was what I said.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that system in place came from people who worked at State House, correct?
Then it was coordinated by Solo Boja. State House.
And these were people who took their instructions from Yaya Jammeh. That's what you said before. True or false?
Yes, before I said that.
Perfect. And it is this same system that obtained in 2006.
Andu nying ko nyilla nya kilingo nying wala keta no 2006 fana.
The same group of people, not necessarily the same individuals, but this same unit was the unit that was responsible for taking people out of Mile 2, people who were accused of treason, and torturing them at the NIA.
Andu nying mo kilingol ilang hana manke o kafu nyikafu kilingol hana manke o mo kilingol ti wolle kilingol kata Mile 2 kata nyim mol kamana e minu 2 minu kudeta la 2006 kata mol kamana kene tajire ya NIA.
It's the same system.
Ko la kilingol nya ko nyi la kilingol nya nyamale.
I will take that to be a yes, Mr. Chair.
I already responded to that. I already responded to that.
General,
I think that should suffice it to say.
General, my difficulty is what is your problem for accepting a fact?
I don't want to exaggerate. If you take it as a fact, it's a fact on your side. So you take what you get from me. I've said it.
You see, you are ready to accept that it was the system that did you in 2009, but you're not prepared to accept that it is the same system that did others in 2006.
If they say so, they said it before you, and you are the legal,
I am asking you.
You heard from the others, you heard from me.
General, you were at the center.
I can speak for my own.
You were at the center of both events.
Okay.
So the system that sent you to be tortured is the same system that sent Wassa Kamara to be tortured, that sent MC Cham, what's his name again, Kambai to be tortured, that sent Demba Dem to be tortured, that sent Mariam Denton to be tortured. If you can accept it for you,
if those are your
accept both events.
I did mention, I think I did mention to the commission the roles that Solo played. It was Solo I've been seen or being at the panel.
Yes.
I've said that well, if you want to take us backwards, then we go back till tomorrow.
No.
I've said that, Musa said that. So I stand by that.
When you are taken to be tortured, was it at the conference room, at the panel?
There.
General, you seem to be avoiding.
Avoiding what?
Accepting that there was a system in place in these false allegations. To accept allegations, whether be they false or true. That was the system. Accept that the system that to which you were
them in your conclusions and help the
we are asking you, are you denying it?
I have said all what I know.
Are you denying it?
About the system, I don't know anything about the system. I've said all what I know. If you suggest so, then help the commission. You can say so. Take my words. What I said, take that. If that doesn't suit you, just take that. Unless, like I said,
what I am saying to you, General,
are we in a trial court?
You do, but the issue here, General, is
can we allow the interpreters to move?
What I am saying is, let's help the interpreters. Is there was a system with a view to obtaining confessions from you. And that operated in 2006. Wherein all those people who were sent before the panels from them. This was the system that operated.
Council, you can use your own word as a system. But I have narrated my experience.
Let me change the question. What happened in 2009 was strikingly similar with what happened in 2006. You agree?
Council, if those are your conclusions, that's fine.
General, this is such a hot potato.
That is what you call it. I know that the 2006
you would accept. You would
they spoke to you. They faced this commission.
Just hear me out. Your colleague Bobaji was tortured. He said that before the commission. Modu Gay said he was tortured. Those are the people who appeared so far from your group.
I
have a statement from Gorseka. He said he was tortured. You are one of the lucky few because of your personal relations with the torturers. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, man, I have an objection. I believe if those people sit here and make those statements, let him take it from them. If I sit here and make a statement, let him take it from me. It is not for me to decide whether those people, what they said is true or wrong. But I am saying what I know, that I was in torture. And that is the truth, and nothing but the truth.
General.
Why is council insisting on that, bringing comparison those that were tortured, Bobaji and the others, and that I was not tortured, to make a comparison? So if you don't want to take my assertion, then why am I here? Why am I called here? And I know that this is not a court of law. It's an investigation. So why is it that council is not ready to take what I say? He wants me to blame a particular person or system or whatsoever. That is not why I am here. I'm here to speak of what I know. At the end of the day, it is this commission that will make a recommendation and a ruling. You would have heard from what Bo and the others said. You would have heard what I said. Then you can read between the lines and make your conclusion. But for council to insist for me to say a particular issue or to accept, I don't think that is why I am here.
Thank you. The commission is heard, the view is expressed. We are going to make our conclusions. We proceed, please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Perhaps, well, okay, I'll just move on to another point. A report was produced of the investigations. And let me read out. Okay. Thank you.
author, so who is the author?
Yes, I would come to that.
Please.
Sorry, General.
Okay, Council.
I just want us to understand each other. What I'm trying to do is to try to draw parallels between 2006 and 2009.
2006 and 2019 temu.
Right? And we have to be honest enough and accept the violations of the law, whether we knew that they were violations or not. And the whole reason for this is we have a responsibility to show a systemic violation of the laws, so that these things can be corrected in the future. That is the whole purpose. We do not have any other ulterior motive other than that. General, we are examining the violations of your rights.
General, ita fangola nyantol la tinya menkete la mbo fana korosi kan.
That is our obligation.
Wala munna lonkundo dunoti.
But equally, it is our obligation to investigate the violations of the rights of the others.
Puruka moko tandol fana na nyantol nyanta tinyal menkete la puruka o fana kisi.
And I am trying to show
mlafta kama yitandi
that what is good for the goose,
membete ya kariye,
in this case is also good for the gander.
Just
like your rights were violated, it was the same approach and the same system that violated the rights of others. This is what we're trying to do. And fairness and honesty would dictate calling a spade a spade. What was done to you that was wrong and done to some other person would equally be wrong. This is what we are trying to show.
Council, certainly I agree with you. Calling a spade a spade. But when a spade is not seen, how could that person call it a spade? When the person sees a spade, he'll call it a spade. So whatever I say here, I've said it is not a trial court. Take that from me.
General,
I've wrote a statement. So whatever I say here, even in a trial court, the evidence is adduced by whoever, certainly has to be taken by the judge. And he makes a decision on those at the end of the day. I stand by whatever I say here, and I stand by whatever comes out of it. Because I know it is only the truth that I know is what I'm saying.
Okay, General, thank you very much. And it's only the truth that we're seeking for. No, nothing else. The torture of your colleagues in 2009 by that group from State House at the NIA was unlawful, just like the torture of the 2006 crew by the people from State House at the NIA was unlawful. Well, fortunately, according to you, you were spared. Just like Ja was spared. So the system had a way of shielding some people and brutalizing the others. I will move on.
So I disagree with you, that assertion. To say that the system has other people that it favors and brutalizing the others. Those that conduct this, whatsoever you call brutalizing witnesses, it doesn't follow that all the time it was the same people that comes. Probably the people who got me out that day might be different from those that got other people those days. And as human beings, we have different reactions. Others can be good. Others can be bad. But if I tell you that I was never tortured, take that from me. I don't think that should be an issue. The comparison of those who were tortured and those who were not tortured. You have the facts before you. Evidence that was adduced by other witnesses. Now you take those two evidence, mine and theirs, and then present it before the commission.
You are fixated on this question about your own torture. I never said anything like that. I never suggested that you were tortured.
Then let's move on.
You were not tortured. I accepted it.
Then let's move on.
And indeed, we are on. We are on to other things. I have lots of statements here which say you were tortured. I never confronted you with anything.
Can they be more rightful than me?
But General, I never confronted you with any single one of them.
No, you said many statements that suggest that I was tortured.
Yes, I do. I have it here. But yes, I never brought them out to you.
But which one is more reliable?
Can we continue to the next point that we want to do? Council, can you answer my question on the origin of the report, the source of the report?
Yes.
Who the authors are, please,
yes,
and the date?
Yes, yes,
but
Mr.
let's
Chair.
continue,
yes,
please,
Mr. Chair.
The exchange.
And General, be assured that this is your own victimization.
Yeah, yeah. If we
you said continue. You were not tortured. We are moving on. We are not touching that.
If it is my own victimization, I have said it here, what I went through. Take that from me. Disregards what you were told by another person. I faced it. I was the one who faced it. If you don't want to take it from me.
Can we go on, please?
That is it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. But let the record also show that we have not confronted you with anything showing that you were tortured. We did not do that.
The statements that you were saying that you have evidence there. So that is something that you have confronted me with.
Mr. Chair, I have this report on the alleged coup plot.
Mr. Chair, report odo bembulujang men sujita ni coup d'etat bayre wala coup.
General, I'll send it to you to take a look at.
General, mbal il report on kile pour ya juve.
Who prepared the report?
The report was prepared by the panel of investigators at the NIA.
Report on meya dada wala mu panel me be ko nyin kisikis kanung NIA.
It was January 22nd, 2009.
January karo til mo ngani fula 2009 sangolan kono ni report on dada.
The members of the panel are listed.
Mendu be panel on kono itol be safi ngele.
Unfortunately, the last page is ripped off.
It's
the staple, it's come off, so we would attach it again. And the report was not signed by any member of the panel.
The report on bring us a panel members or panel member kono iman report on must sign.
So the top page is also about to come off. I think the date of the report may be wrong. You see, the typical mistake at the beginning of the new year, people always forget to change to the actual new year. You know, they always refer to the previous year. The events being investigated were November 27th, 2009, but the report is dated 22nd January 2009. I want to believe they meant 2010. So I would send the report to General to make a quick browse through.
The report General report
just so that
in the meantime, Council, would you still recommend, with all the gaps and the holes that you mentioned in it, that it be admitted?
We wouldn't admit it now. We would admit it when the NIA bosses come.
Okay, fine.
Court recommended that you be charged for treason in that you were organizing a coup d'etat and that you had taken steps.
General ladilo me asa mbeni report on narega wala nyindiko report on nyina kumfa dula to eveni tandije wala nyindiko ite be tumiro lale kan wala nyindiko ye tumiro be tumiro mel lale wala nyindiko treason wala mjamfa jawoti be wala lale kan
Do you agree with the contents of that report, with the conclusion of that report that I have just summarized? You could look at it at the last page. Emanated from this report. So I take it that your answer would be that you do not agree to the findings or recommendations of this report. The conclusions would be on the second to last page.
Yes. Thank you, Council. I've gone through the report and I deny that this report is not correct, which they suggested that I was part of a group that planned a coup. So I disagree with this report.
Thank you, General. Could you briefly just tell this commission what happened that culminated to you being charged with treason? Why?
Council, I've talked about our arrest in respect of this alleged coup. It happened that two young boys, small boys for that matter, accused us of planning a coup. These were those named as Ibrahim Asanyang and Rui Jabi Gassama, or Rui Jabi Kujabi whatsoever. Following that allegation, we got arrested, investigated. But it happened that all of us denied the allegation. But that notwithstanding, it happened one day that before we were charged even, I still remember it was on a Monday that Abdullah Juf and Brigadier General Omar Bunbai were with us at the Mile 2 prisons, were removed from the prisons and taken away. And what we heard later was they were released. And we further heard that on a Wednesday, some others will be released. And on a Friday, the last group that includes myself will be released. But the following day, Tuesday, we saw Abdullah Juf and General Omar Bunbai being returned back to the prisons. Later we came to understand that there was a big concern from the panel members because they felt that once we were released, certainly the president will turn around and have them arrested. But something led to this release. The president at the time, President Yahya Jammeh, got confused with the briefings he was getting from the panel at the NIA. Because he kept receiving different statements. To the extent that he assigned one Sehu Jallo that he must come to the panel and get the real facts. And Sehu Jallo came to the panel. I recall I was taken before the panel and confronted with one of the witnesses, Ibrahim Sanyang. When I narrated what I knew about the coup, and that Ibrahim was given the chance to also explain, Ibrahim started explaining fresh things that were never mentioned earlier. But before he could proceed further, the panel has to call off the confrontation. And it was one boy called JT Kujabi. This JT Kujabi was not working, knowing that this Ibrahim Asanya was trying to reveal the facts, which will lead to Sehu getting the real true story of the allegation. I mean, the panel knowing that. And at that time, if you give a lie to the president and he comes to realize the truth, what they did was, in fact, that was how Sehu went to the president and gave him the true story of this allegation. And the following day, Monday, and a plan was in place so that on a Wednesday, a team will be released. And Friday, I, along others, will be the last to be released. But those people who allege us, who fabricated this evidence, when they heard about the release of Abdullah Juf and Omar Bunbai, knowing that the next move is they will be arrested for telling lies against the president, they went and used the DPP, the Director of Public Prosecution.
General, allow me to interrupt you here. I hate doing that, but allow me to do so. Who is this person or this group of people that sought to have you incriminated? That have come to realize that this initial allegation is going to fail and they went to the DPP.
Council, following our arrest, certainly we were able to gather some information. These two boys that are mentioned that allege us, we were made to understand they earlier on alleged the former IGP Usman Song, Stakafly, Esa Baji. He was the first to be alleged. But until he was invited to the NIA, and then all of a sudden things twisted the other way around. So for us, we believe that he was part of those because he was part of the panelists that investigated us. And we were of the opinion that him knowing those small boys being liars, they have adequately briefed the president about the ordeal he had with them. These small boys, in fact, whether I'll say they fooled or they tricked who was Masane Kinte. This said Ibrahim Asanyang was able to impersonate that he was sent to Farafenya Barracks by the president. In fact, the CDS at that time, Masane Kinte, was called to our court as a witness. Tricked the soldiers there, the commanding officer for that matter, that he was on the mission of the president.
Came out in the trial, didn't it?
Came out, Council.
Was this small boy arrested?
Council, after our sentencing,
Council bri entolu sorom foka tate sindi
in Janjambure prison.
Janjambure kasola.
So they stayed in the prison all that while.
Ibe kasola wo atobe.
We were pardoned by the president.
President unata yamfantolie.
All that time they were in the prison in Janjambure.
Obe atara itolube kasola Janjambure.
Until when the new government of President Barrow came in.
Alfo Barrow President Barrow la mansakunda kuto.
They were the ones who released them.
Wole ebula.
But you would agree with me that the system that was used to put Esa Baji in trouble is the same system that was used to put you in trouble. Correct?
Council, when you say system, what system are you talking about?
Call it approach. Call it same group of people. Call it similar type accusation. Would you agree?
What I will agree to is a group of people certainly wanted to see us in trouble. And they allege us of plotting a coup, which they carried to the president. But sooner or later, the president was briefed on the facts by Sehu Jallo. I've said it here. Certainly, the president started releasing our team. And if those same people go around using the DPP, or the DPP who had the investigation file, suggest to the president that this was a coup in the making, it was real. What the president could do at that time was to have us rearrested. And that was what happened. Because we all know what the DPP means in terms of being advisor to the president in legal issues.
General, let's come to the accusation against you with regards to the 2006 coup. Six.
Council, I'm ready.
Please.
Okay. For the 2006, the allegation against me.
2006,
when we were detained in prison following the allegation for the 2009 coup plot. On the arrival there, it was when we came to know that another plot was being set up against us. That is those that were involved in the 2006 coup, subsequently arrested and sentenced by a court martial, a man called Kebaringo Bojang. Kebaringo Bojang comes from Kanilai. We are made to understand that he was detained by the president. This Kebaringo Bojang was used by those sentenced in the 2006 coup, particularly Modu Aliuba, M.A. Because when we were there, we are made to understand that this Modu Aliuba was the one taking care of this Kebaringo Bojang and other financial support. So the arrangement they did was, they knew that Kebaringo Bojang would be released soon. They put to him that when he is released, let him talk to the president about them, that they are sorry, and that there are other people who are part of the coup. The reason being that they wanted to be part of the coup was my own self. The other Babi Navy Lieutenant Silla Kujabi.
Navy ba kono sojari lieutenant to me ka fay Silla Kujabi.
Mfalin Jabang.
Mfali Jabang.
And I cannot remember the names of the other people.
Dolum hakilo me tolu mutano.
So when he reported when Kebaringo was released, so Kebaringo succeeded in having Modu Aliuba released from prison. He had a presidential pardon. So when he was pardoned, he benefited from all his salaries that were in arrears. He was reinstated back into the army, and he was promoted. So now he was the one to take up that plan of convincing the president that those coups of 2006 who were sentenced were sorry for what happened. So they want to seek for his apology. And he was to tell the president that myself and those people I mentioned, we were part of the coup. And in doing so, they had hope that the president will release them, the other 2006 coups who were sentenced in Mile 2. So that was how they filtered the information to the NIA that touches on our involvement. And eventually, Navy Captain Sergio Fofana got arrested. He was the chairman of the court martial. So all those officers who served in the panel, in the court martial panel that sentenced them, were either arrested, detained, or dismissed from the service. And then that was Sergio Fofana was in Mile 2. Captain Wali Nyang was also detained in Mile 2. But others were allowed released, they were dismissed and released to go home. So some of these 2006 coups, whilst we were Camara was among them. Captain Dabo was among them.
Allow me, General, to just interrupt. Why were they being taken out and in? What do you mean by that?
They were taken to the justice to implicate us. It was Bunja Dabo and Emeba who wrote statements to implicate me part of the coup. Emeba also stated that when he knew about the coup, he informed my orderly, and my orderly informed me. And Wasa also wrote a statement against Silla Kujabi. So all those, like I said, all those who were part of their court martial panel were implicated and statements written by them. So when they succeeded in that, and Emeba was released, before we were taken to a court, Emeba did not do what they agreed, which was to make sure that he helped them so that they will also be released. So when our day of trial came, of course me and Sergio Fofana were the ones charged. During our trial, some of them were called as witnesses. In my own case, it was Modu Aliuba who was already outside in the coup. And for Sergio Fofana, at that moment, it was Captain Dabo.
Mutumo Captain Dabo.
He appeared before this commission.
Well, afindita in commission nyati.
Yaya Dabo, you mean?
Yaya Dabo, correct.
Yaya Dabo.
Yaya Dabo made a statement alleging the involvement of Sajo Fofana. So on the day of the court, myself and Sajo Fofana were taken to the courts. Yaya Dabo and Bunja also were brought to the court to testify as witness and Emeba. When the matter was called, Bunja was to be in the dock to give his witness statement. He refused. He said he will not get in the dock. There was a lot of push and pull, but he insisted that he will not, saying that he did not make any statement against anybody.
General, he said that he will not swear under oth.
Yes, correct.
And take the witness box. And the question was whether an unsworn witness who does not fall within the exceptions of the law, like a child or a person who cannot understand the nature or consequence of an oath, how could the person testify without that? Proceed, General. But then, General, just a minute. I stand guided by you, Mr. Chair. It's 3 o'clock. We haven't taken the lunch, unlikely. So how do we proceed?
We are hungry.
Council, it happened this way. When Bunja was called, Bunja did not argue on the issue of swearing. Bunja said that he will not step in the witness box. He refused to testify. When Yaya Dabo was called, Yaya refused to be sworn in. But he accepted to step in the witness box. So eventually, Yaya was allowed to step in the witness box without swearing. So he gave his evidence. So they did not reach at the level of swearing. Then we went back, we were taken back to Mile 2. A new date was given. We were taken there again. But this time, Bunja refused to go to the courtroom. He stayed at the prison yard. But Yaya Dabo accepted to go to the prison. And he was taken. So that day too, Yaya said the same thing. That what he wrote about Fofana's involvement wasn't true. So he's denying that Fofana wasn't involved. But Emeba was there that day. He stepped in the witness box. And he told the judge that when he knew about the coup d'etat, he told my orderly that he wanted to see me. And the orderly brought him to me. And he told me about the plan coup. That was the evidence he gave. But he said he didn't tell me, he was afraid to mention that during the court martial. Because he thought that if he mentioned that in the court martial, I was going to go after him. That was what he said in the court. And then that was how we closed for the day. And then in subsequent days, he continued testifying until we reached at the ruling judgment day. The judge was Ikpala. In the judgment, Our lawyer was Sirif Tambedu. Because it is very clear in the law that when you charge somebody for treason, so it was obvious that in my case, the evidence adduced by Modu Aliuba, nobody adduced evidence against Sergio Fofana. Because Yaya Dabo withdrew to testify. So on the judgment day, I was found guilty by the judge Ikpala. Even though that the evidence adduced by Emeba was incorroborated, he still found me guilty. And that was how I was sentenced, even though I was serving the death sentence at that time. Then this judgment was still passed on me.
So in the first trial you were sentenced to death?
Correct. All the 9 of us were sentenced to death.
What happened to this 8th person, the person Izidin Rambo? What happened to him?
In that case, after our sentencing, and we were all serving in the Mile 2 prisons, one evening, Rambo was taken away. But he was staying opposite my room. And we were worried. I was worried particularly. Why was he being taken away in that late evening, around 7, 8 p.m.? Between 7 and 8 p.m. Because when he was going, he went with only his jumper. So later on, we tried to inquire. That is in the following days. Until later we heard that he left the country. And we were made to understand that he had a presidential pardon.
Nicodemusly? At night? So then pardon?
This was around 8 p.m. This was around 8 p.m.
A pardon at night, and suddenly on that same day the person was whisked out of the country. Did it look regular to you?
For us, we felt that maybe the president has that authority. And when it comes to the issue of being regular or not, I could remember some prisoners being pardoned around that same time of 8 p.m. It had happened on several occasions.
All right, so it was no big deal for you?
Certainly, hence it was happening, so it wasn't a big deal.
The rumor in town was that he was paid money to release that person. Actually, we are not privy to that information, that rumor. The president is vested with powers to accord pardon to prisoners. General, could you use former president instead of the president? Okay, because the record may...
Sorry, Council.
General, nibe diamula isa for President Koto, kakala for President Onying.
I agree. Sorry, Council.
Thank you very much. General, you seem to be avoiding.
General, I come to go.
Deliberately avoiding saying anything that would suggest that Yaya Jammeh acted unlawfully.
That
has been the trend of your entire testimony.
Council, maybe that is the way you see it. But I know that I'm seated here to talk the truth and nothing but the truth. I don't want to be speculative. In this case of Rambo, we were incarcerated in the prisons. So whatever happens outside, we cannot be able to confirm that. Anything we'll hear about that will certainly be rumor. that is why this is my position.
General, are you still afraid of Yaya Jammeh?
General, for hani sa ibes landing Yaya Jammeh bang.
Council, I had never been afraid of Yaya Jammeh.
Council nana man sila Yaya Jammeh.
Yaya Jammeh was my president and commander-in-chief.
Yaya Jammeh munna president ngolti andu atela munna nyaton ko.
And of course, I have to give him that honor and respect.
Andu dalilo ka ngau bunyani hormoni.
Even President Barrow.
Hani President Barrow.
It is the same honor and respect I accorded him.
Hormoni bunya ngau le dia.
And
it is not because I was afraid. No.
And General, we all do respect our president and the commander-in-chief.
Andu General Ntolbe.
Past or present.
Ntolbe ngana nyaton kol bunyale nge horoma.
But if our
nyaton kol tinunjang for Hanif sa milbe nyaton kaya.
But if our commander-in-chief acted unlawfully,
but na tara na nyaton ko ay manya ke mialon kanin luwa manta,
we still should be in place to have the courage to pronounce it as an unlawful conduct.
Ntol nyanta lola nga hani kafo ka ay kuol minke woni luwa manta.
Just like you were willing to condemn the killing of Daba Marena as unlawful,
and
just like you were able to condemn the fact that the president killed his own sister or cousin,
Point of correction, I never said that he killed his own sister. You can go through my evidence, I never mentioned that.
Well, you seem to have accepted
that evidence be brought forward. I never said that because I had no evidence which suggests that he killed his own sister.
Okay, when you go home, review the tape, review the record. I would withdraw that, but between you and I, you would know what you said. You can review it. But the fact of the matter is,
I will disagree when you say between you and I. This is a courtroom where I give my testimony.
General, I have withdrawn that. Are you satisfied?
I am.
Okay. So when you go home, you review what you have said. And the commission would also review what you have said. But you seem to have condemned the killing of Daba Marena and Masi Jammeh.
General Masi Jammeh.
Yes.
Masi Jammeh fanyato.
Certainly, I can condemn it as I am human. But I never made any suggestion that it was the president who killed them. Certainly, when lives are lost, one has to condemn them. Certainly.
General, maybe somebody would just cut that part of the video and post it somewhere. But when you go home, watch it, I withdraw the statement. As if you've never made it. But the General,
that was not what I meant.
There have been many slips of
and I cannot remember making such statements.
There have been many slips of the tongue. We would put that aside.
Of course, it is human. It is human to make errors. I agree to that.
But General, you would agree with me that the system that convicted you violated your rights.
Council, certainly I blame the court system. I was sentenced by a court of law. So I blame that. I've mentioned here that the Director of Public Prosecution, or even whereas I don't mention that, I want to bring that to the attention of the Commission. That prior to our charges being implemented, each of us, we did 9, we are taken to the Aegis chamber. The day that we were taken there, that day it was myself, Obimbai, Modugay. We were taken before the DPP Chenge. I was the first to be a young CDS, we are a young general. Oh, you look smart and you are handsome. He said to me, look at this file. This file contains evidence and photographs of the boat you people boat in Bissau. That was going to transport the weapons to the Gambia for your planned coup. He said to me now, what I want is, if you could serve as state witness. If you agree to that, from here, my office here, you are going straight home. You will not return back to Mile 2. My response to him was, I am not that type. I said, I'm sure you heard about me. And look at me properly. There is no situation that can warrant me to lie, pardon, and leave my colleagues in the prison. I said, all I can tell you that the allegations were lies. I said to him, return me back to Mile 2. That was how I was led out of his office. Then Modugay was ushered in the office. The same offer was given to Modugay, which he declined. He was led out. Brigadier General Omar Mbai was led in. Brigadier General Obi Mbai fana ya fana dundi. The same offer, which he declined. So in a sense, all the 9 of us got offers. So that you can accept the making of the coup, serve as a witness, and then you'll be pardoned to go home, which we all declined.
General,
Counsel,
you would not have been convicted with regards to the 2006 coup if there was no Emeba.
General, tendun loi bulote lale kang foye sorong na atra nung Emeba la kumakawal tije.
You agree?
Counsel, I agree that even Emeba testifying before me, the law is very clear on that. Anybody charged for treason cannot be sentenced with uncorroborated evidence.
General, your answer could have been a simple yes, and we saved all that time.
General, ila jabiro nyinga anyanta kala nun dorong halate dorong isaje nkana wati jamata.
So like I said, this is not a court proceeding. This is an investigation. I should be allowed to explain further. That is what I'm doing.
But you haven't given any further explanation. All you have just done is just to move on to issues that you were not asked.
But
let me proceed. Emeba was pardoned by the president.
Correct.
And you just told us that Kebaringo Bojang was used to influence the president to bring out Emeba on trump-up charges to convict you.
Certainly, I said.
Otherwise, we'll be here till tomorrow. Emeba was facilitated by Yaya Jammeh. True or false?
I don't understand when you say it was facilitated.
Well,
because I know that it was Kebaringo who carried those words to the president. So I see as Kebaringo was the one who facilitated. By talking to the president.
You are prepared to blame everybody else except Jammeh, who accepted. Who approved? Who made it happen? You blame everybody else except Jammeh. Isn't that the case?
And so that isn't the case. And Kebaringo who facilitated. And it was the president who approved.
Exactly.
I accept that.
If the president did not approve for Emeba to come out of prison, would he have been out?
He wouldn't have been out. He wouldn't have been out.
The deal the deal that enabled Emeba to come out of prison, he testified against you. Would that happen?
Their promotions, we approve Emeba's promotion.
But you could have simply said yes. You could have simply said
Instances, I will explain. I'll not give the word yes. I said this is not a court of law. It's not a trial.
So Emeba came out of jail to testify against you on the basis of a deal with Yaya Jammeh. On the basis of a deal with Yaya Jammeh. Obviously.
Council, this is the problem between me and you. I wasn't aware of a deal between Emeba and President Yaya Jammeh.
But General, it is obvious you are just denying a patently obvious fact. You told us the deal organized by Kebaringo. From Kanilai, Kebaringo from Kanilai. He was used to convince Yaya Jammeh. Yaya Jammeh brought out Emeba from prison. Gave him back all his back pay. Gave him double promotions from captain from lieutenant to major. You were charged on the basis of his allegation. General, that is glaringly obvious.
Council, that isn't the case. If you see it that way, well and good.
General, you are afraid to implicate Yaya Jammeh in all the wrongful deeds against you and against your colleagues.
General, that
is the fact.
If that is your position, fine.
That is your position. And General, in fact, that is the reason why you were released, when you were released from jail. You wrote to Yaya Jammeh. And all you did was praise him. There was nowhere in your letter where you in fact suggested the unlawfulness of your imprisonment. I will send you a copy. And perhaps maybe you should read out the letter yourself. You agree that you were wronged by the country. You agree that?
Let me see the copy.
No, you agree that you were wronged by the country, you were wrongly incarcerated.
I had said that several times before the commission.
Exactly. Take a look at the letter and read it out to the commission. Read it all out to the commission.
Akarang bang commission ayamoy.
Council, what is the connection for me reading this letter here?
Council, nyingie mong chokil nyolo le nati ndela nyin letter o karang.
Are you also afraid to read it?
You assassin. You just answer.
No, I'm just asking a question.
I ask you first.
I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to ask the question.
Yeah, hold on a second. Witness, is that a true copy of the letter you sent to President Jammeh? Taking a good look at it.
President Jammeh.
Yeah, but I cannot even remember this one. It is how many years from now?
A copy of what you sent to Jammeh.
President Jammeh.
It could be true, but I cannot remember.
It's close
to 10 years ago.
What's the date on the letter there?
Yes,
there is no date.
Chairman,
there's no date on this. That is why I cannot remember.
Well, Mr. Chair, if he did not date the original, the copy would not have.
So there is no date on the letter?
But Mr. Chair, if he refuses.
No, I'm coming. Yeah, if so no date on the letter.
There is no date.
You don't recall.
No address, no date, no nothing. It's just a mere copy like this with my picture there.
Letter among lungol sodomia ko lungomina the data and
what authenticity does this have?
Council, can you go ahead and then read what is there?
What is in
Council,
there? Please send it to me.
Just
Mr. Chair, if the witness cannot accept that,
Mr. Chair,
there is a record of his interview with the Daily Observer.
Can't spend time on just this.
I will read out.
Please go ahead.
I will read out the letter of appreciation. And this is the caption: former CDS Tamba writes to President. The former Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambia Armed Forces, Tombong Tamba, has written a letter of appreciation to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yaya AJJ Jammeh Babili Mansa, for granting him a presidential pardon that reunited him with his family.
Letter on Pruka Sutiani Mimbi, well, itef CDS koto nying ye letteros safele ya ki president kaitandala ye kontano min soto kabra ye bondi kasota kayam fe
and the message reads
sayang kuma ko nying min fota
letter of appreciation
lettero mi alon ko mbe president jaila.
First and foremost, I would like to give praise to the Almighty Allah for this very important day in my life.
Follow mbe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tendula pour ñun lunku mami yala ketana balu kono.
Reunion with my family and friends. Without adequate words though, it is with profound gratitude and sincere appreciation that I write this letter to Your Excellency. For exercising the prerogative of mercy by releasing me from sentence. And therefore, we will continue to be grateful to you for this generosity of spirit. I pray that Almighty Allah continue to protect you on all fronts. Guide and grant you a healthy, long life so you continue driving this country to highest level of development. Your Excellency,
Your Excellency, the President,
your action has sent an important message to the whole world. That the Gambia under your visionary leadership is tolerant. Respects our cultural norms and values. As well as wishes within the context of our governance system, oneness and sympathy to one another. Furthermore, this audacious initiative clearly reiterates your democracy, which upholds our cultural and religious norms of mercy and forgiveness. I am proud of you and your government for having considered us for pardon. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala positively reward you abundantly. The past few years of my custody were difficult. However, these days were not just moments of restriction, but had transformed me spiritually and brought me closer ever to Almighty Allah than I was. My pride goes beyond having learned and completed reciting the holy book of Islam, the Quran. But I can now confirm I am a person whose faith in all aspects has strengthened. Alhamdulillah. Excellency, it is my conviction that your decision to release all ex-convicts was against the spirit of tolerance. Your in-depth knowledge of the contents and your beliefs in the teachings of the two holy books, the Quran and the Bible, Pan-Africanism, sympathy, national reconciliation and development. It is within the same spirit, therefore, that I wish to pledge to you the government times and forever. In addition, I also humbly ask for forgiveness from all Gambian people, including your Excellency, that I might have wronged or caused any inconvenience, while I assure you and the entire country of my unwavering loyalty and continuous reconciliatory spirit. I must sincerely, therefore, may I take this prospect to, on behalf of my humble self and on behalf of my family, profoundly thank you for the good gesture and wish you and your first family good health and long life. Furthermore, and to end my letter for now, I wish to deeply assure all contents of this letter emanate from the floor of my heart. And I shall uphold to whatever is stated. Inshallah. Inshallah. Importantly also, I wish to pray for the state mother, Aja Asombi Boja, that Allah protect and give you good health and long life. Give her, I mean to say, so that she may continue to give the motherly inspiration to the nation. In conclusion, accept please your excellency the assurances of my highest consideration and fraternal esteem. Long live the Gambia. Long live Your Excellency. I remain your servant, Tombong Tamba, former Chief of Defense Staff. That's the letter. It's a beautifully worded letter.
Thank you, Council, very much. Witness, did you write a letter to President Jammeh shortly after your release?
Council, I'm trying to recall my memory, Chairman. Our legal representative, Sirif Tambedu, once told us that he wrote 2 letters to the President. One was, I think, to ask for clemency. And the other one, I couldn't remember. So probably, this might fall within the letters written by our legal representative.
Did you write to the President at all yourself? What I just want to know.
So who writes to the President on our
You yourself ever write to the President shortly after your release? There's this letter that the Council read. Did that capture the essence of what?
Certainly, Council. We are all given the opportunity to say something before the national television for releasing us for the presidential pardon. So if this is the case, and our lawyer said he wrote about 2 letters to the President, this might be among those 2 letters.
Thank you very much, Council.
Mr. Chair,
this is now part of the record. It's been read into the record.
Mr. Chair, there is also an interview with the Daily Observer.
Mr. Chair,
would you recollect that this is a record of the interview? And Mr. Chair, I just want to put on the Ambedu. Who we all know has worked extremely hard in cases of this nature, and to which we are grateful.
And so what is your evidence on that? He was our legal representative.
Tombong Tamba, former Chief of Defense Staff. All I'm saying is that is what the record shows.
Sorry, interpreter. The point is well noted, Council.
Thank you.
It's been read as part of the record. Shall we move on to?
Yes, I did.
Would you agree that this is the record of that interview?
Yes, this was.
Thank you very much.
So bundato dorong ining kibar talal diamutal.
And you, all of you, thank the President.
Nalbe President nyinga natilana.
It's no other reason
amanke fendo kantide
but to show that this was the system.
Then the President la koy ba fiele
and thank him
ya faya ka baraka
for pardoning you
pro ay yam fo min ka
or convicted.
Fo ye muta nyamin kasoto atata ni silo la famantani silo wala ye soro loi ye soro nyame atatanin silo general wo dalilo damale atin nanganyin kuma kan fintindina.
You are not the only person
ita manke ita damama amanke ita damala
to have
equal benu wala nyama
it, and this is the kind of system
anu nyim kusi falem nu
the commission or at least me, is the person is released, the person is expected to praise and apologize to that same system that wronged the person.
Coming mbole fintindikan commission onyi walante mbole fintindikan kaitandiko hana tara momi yalan ko loi e muta ye sorong ana manke to nya kanti hani obe ni loi e bula eka muru koten eka na eka president eka itandala ko loi e muta yem bula so mbe yam fo mbafule ko baraka.
For all those people who have been wrongly imprisoned,
mol mi yalan ko ye sorong kasota da manke silo kanti,
we as a country, we owe you.
Wo mol nying ntol mi yalan ko ntol mo Gambia di banko nyim banko nying nyanta nga fengo soto e kanede.
We have to correct that wrong we have done against them.
Ngo tilimbali aminke wo
putting them in jail.
Anda manke ko be fintila na nka president o jay ayatra wo kan ko ay soron kaso kono la nyala mi ka do soto be nyini kala minna.
And Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, I would ask to put the two reports.
At the
ICC.
What was the
Mr. Chair,
exhibit numbers?
I would give you an exhibit number after this break.
Fine.
Thank you. Could the Secretariat get me the document, please?
Thank you very much indeed. And if the commissioners don't have any questions, we will have the General make his closing remarks.
Na tara commissioner man nyinin kanso de be nyinin kala min. Sa ite general isela diamu labangol fodoro.
But before he gets to that one, there is one very, very small point that I want him to clarify. 2009 attempted coup.
For malam fanim feye nyoso dole mialan ko wolen coup d'etat bayo min ketanu 2002.
Did I understand that the country was plunged into a political and perhaps a conspiratorial mayhem by what you refer to as two small boys, 7, 9, 10-year-old, plunging the Gambia in that kind of chaos?
Come for dinding merangol mi ite ifonga for nya wo dinding ke fulol mi alon ko wolle keta modi mi anko kafuta e denta nyola komin kanyim banko dundi banko tatano mun konon wo wato.
You refer to them as small boys, two small boys. How old were they?
Ya fo janne ko ko wol mo kambandin dindin fula. Ako wo wato fo wol be sanji jalle wo wato.
Yeah, and they might be around 15, 16.
Skeno be sanji tanni lulu sanji tanni woro.
Extraordinary. Please proceed to make your closing remarks.
Chairman
of the commission.
Chairman of commission oto jang.
Members of the commission.
Ani mol mi yalan ko be commission oto jang.
Lead counsel.
Lead counsel.
Deputy lead counsel.
Ana normalan ko.
Executive secretary.
Ani mi yalan ko ka fo le executive secretary.
All those present here.
Ani mol mi yalan ko bebe ma be rinjang.
My family members.
Dimbayal.
Members of the press.
Ani kiba talal.
I say a big thank you
mbafulale ala baraka
to this commission
min commission oto
for giving me the opportunity
for yewato min dinna
to sit here
pour kasi jang
and talk of issues
ka diamu kola
that concerns me.
Mi yalan ko wolle ketan telephone la
Many a times
sinya jama
when I'll be watching your proceedings,
nimbal jibela
I'll see some of the witnesses
be sedo dol jela
making mention of me, and I felt that
this
is an opportunity for me to appear in person and shed light in that respect. I want to say here that all what I said here was said freely, without any intimidation or whatsoever. And that is why I have to thank the Commission for the way and manner in which the proceedings were carried out here. Certainly this will give confidence for those who have not been here, we will give them confidence to get the mind to appear before this commission. We must all be convinced as Gambians that there is no, we must all be convinced as Gambians this commission, we as Gambians, we should be convinced this commission is not set up things that have happened because it is only uncovering those issues that can help us all to make the corrections. I show you that all what I said here, I have said it to the best of my ability. Is what interests me. You have a big task to carry out, but I'm happy you are doing it fine. And with Allah's guidance, it may not be possible for all to be satisfied. But I'm happy that I've seen the majority of the panelists. Most of them are parents in this commission, that it will discharge its duties. And when I see landing of Christianity, that further gives me hope that the deliberations of that it will be done in the best of their ability, without fear or favor. Let us see Gambia. Let us see Gambia first. The trend in this country is very sympathetic. We have taken politics to put it at the forefront of everything. Let us be reminded. Politics is just like a game. When you are in the field of football, you have 11 players in both sides. At the end of the day, one team has to win. Politics is the same. All sides cannot be winners. We all celebrate together. Because we must be reminded that we the elderly, our days are gone. So we have to work hard to leave a good legacy for our families and others yet to come. My appearance here today was centered on so many areas. I was a former Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambia Armed Forces. And I thank God that I happen to be the first to be promoted to general rank. It was not because I was better than the others. Not because I was more landed than the others. But that was the will of God. And it has ever been my position to discharge my duties in the right way. But hence I am human, and to err is human. During the course of my duty as Chief of Defense Staff, I might have made some mistakes. I might have had some shortcomings.
And asikenga kulke mi alon ko amanken sawoti.
That wasn't deliberate.
Amanke ko ngaken sawole kan.
That wasn't willful.
And amanke ko ngaken ni diala kan.
Those that were arrested
Mol mi alon ko yole muta.
and subsequently was my conviction
Ndefon kan ngokan
that during the investigation
wato mi na kisikisiro dabe mutari.
to see to reach that
Ka jeko
all of you were fairly treated. When I saw one of you
kabringa atol kilinja atol kono
in the name of Farin Sanyang
ika fo mi faring sanyang
in that type of terrible situation,
ngaje abu wo kolea kono.
it really hurt me
Wo kuyatanya bakale.
because that was not what I wanted to see.
Katu man amanke leftanu wole jela.
And also during that time
And wo wato fana
we worked hard
ngado wo kele kende ke
to see to reach that
ka jeko
the ground was level for all of you.
ka jeko kuol be tembatale nyanta tambela nyame.
But hence we did not have complete control over over some things that might have gone wrong.
Ko dol ke da miyan ko wol manyana kala.
As I was the most senior on the ground that time,
Ko atuko wato ntel makamo siata mol min bebe nunje.
I wanted to take charge of all situations.
So I left a lola kuol be la miyan ko wol lekata.
I wanted to take charge of situations at the time.
Wato left ka lo kuol la miyan ko wol beke kan wo wato kon.
But that wasn't the case
But wo manna ke koti.
because of what the situation was.
Katu wayatara kuol be lare no nyame wole wacham.
So therefore,
So I wokan
I want to say to all of you,
mba fala tol be ko
in one way or the other,
nyinsila do wala sila nyinsilo.
whatever might have happened,
Fonga fe miyan ko wole keta.
it wasn't our wish.
Amanke ko ngole ngania de.
It wasn't our will.
Amanke ko ngole fana hamede.
To the extent that
Fokata fo.
some of you went through
Atol tata kol miya wole latal kan.
some difficulties
Kole ya kulto.
as testified by you before this commission.
Koma liya fo nyamin janyin commission o nyati wala.
So I'm saying that
Mba fola ko.
if I have,
Na atara ko.
in one way or the
Sila
other,
killing nyin sila dole mba wala sila dole mba.
if I have in one way or the other
Na atara ko nana ye kuke.
wrong any of you,
Nga mo tonye.
I want to tell you that
Mba fola ko.
it wasn't deliberate,
Amanke ko ngaken sawala.
it wasn't intentional.
Amanke ko ngaken nganiola.
Then I say sorry.
Mba fola ale yam funye.
I've said it here to air.
Nga fola nung janko komi hadama dungo pra kuke miala manyang.
This human, we are fully taken care of.
Ya topoto enyanta topoto la
We
nyami.
are given the opportunity.
Ya watu fana di Allah.
And in fact, that was what
Wala fonga ya tinna fang.
led to my removal from the panel.
Foi yem bondi wo alfa miala ko wolebe kisikisi lola.
When the case of Sirif Mustafa Diba was brought before the panel.
Kabre wato miala ko Sirif Mustafa Diba ala ko nata wo alfa nyati lona.
So,
Tolbe mo kilingol leti.
but the good thing is,
Bari ko be mo minti. Ko kendo be.
those very people I'm talking about who were involved in alleged investigation,
Wato minna kisikisi ro dabe mutari.
they accepted.
Isonta
During the court martial,
kabri wato fana ye samba sojaro la.
they all confessed of their involvement,
Itolbe nata sata kotenko ko dabe non kudeta.
that yes, they were involved. Their denial
Ila balon
might have led to
asatina no
some actions being taken.
ye ko do leka.
But like I said,
Bar ko nga fo
this commission is set up
anu nga mira ko wajji ko kanne ye nyin commission o londi
to correct the wrongs.
pour kaje ko kul mi ala man tiling se
And
tiling
I want to assure you that
andu mba
it is not the best thing.
awo manke ko di mi ala ko wala nyinyata
It's not the best way
amanke ko siloti mi ala ko wala sila kendoti
that we Gambians are known for.
ntol Gambia no ye lon daji ko mi malla
My good wishes.
ani miliyan ko ye ngani kendo soto
Certainly, when you are in such a situation,
yalla wato dol bi je ni be wo ku kole asifal ko
this is not a difficult
ni
situation.
manke ku kole on tifa
It is a situation that you come to say what you know.
ni mo dinkirati mi ala ko ye min lon dore bina ye wala fo
So you must thank those that stood by you.
sai fo mol jay miliyan ko wolle lote balake fasa
And certainly my family
andum wol kono na dimbal dabe
and
wolto
my friends
nteri mal
are among those.
aning dol
I also want to make a plea to this commission.
andum be daniro fana kala nyin commission oy
There are certain things that I want them to look into.
left ko dol bi je leftale ye wol jibe
I have noticed that
ngajele ko
there is a particular group here
mo dol bi je mi yalon ko mo dantang
that have been left out.
ye wol bula ko man
The present government
nyi man sakunda mi be lorinte
is composed of
ye mol min keje
almost all the tribes.
Siol be dabijel.
All Gambians.
Gambian will be dabijel.
However, I've noticed that
who
did nothing at all. Who did nothing at all, I say again. Who have been relieved of their duties. And I believe that if we want to move forward, that should be discouraged. By this I mean the likes of Navy Captain Silla Kujabi, Colonel Bojang, Brigadier General Savage. I have a list. I could not remember all in the list. These are people that have not heard of anything that they committed. This is something that hurts in the heart. Probably the commission may not know. All these people, most of them have mentioned. They belong to the Jola tribe. I know former managing directors were relieved of their duties. Probably they belong to one tribe. And I don't think this will help. If we say we want to move forward as a country. I recall in the days of the former president Yahya Jammeh. In fact, in his cabinet, there were no more than 2 Jolas as ministers. In the military, people who handle chiefs of defense staff position.
Chief of defense staff.
Most of them were not Jolas. I have said it here. When I was the chief of defense staff,
chief of defense staff,
my deputy was Inte Jola. That was Masane Kinte. The chief of the army staff, Yankuba Drame, was Inte Jola. The chief of naval staff, Sajo Fofana, was Inte Jola. So we had other tribes. But the same thing, I can say most of the officers who belong to a particular tribe. Particularly the Jola tribe, have been relieved of their duties. This country, the Gambia, never experienced any tribal sentiments. I personally sitting here, I'm a Jola by tribe. My first wife is a Jola by tribe. My second wife is a Serer Wolof. But with my first wife, the Jola, those who know us will attest to this. I have never spoken Jola with her. Our language of communication has been Mandinka. Up to today, we communicate in Mandinka. Because we were made to understand that language doesn't matter. It should not be a barrier. It should reunite us instead. And that is what I want to advise this country. When issues happen, we have to learn from them. We have to learn by experience. And we get the best part of it. That will help us. Today, what I see in this country, politics has divided us. And I want to call on all political leaders to come together and sensitize their followers. Make them understand it is the country that is bigger than any political party. Some of us had served in peacekeeping areas. And we saw a lot. And therefore,
and
we stand in a position
to
give advices
to
our leaders, our religious leaders, so that let them take the forefront. Our religious leaders, our elders, they stand up and face this challenge. Gambia is a small country. All we should wish for the Gambia is peace and stability. Another point, Chairman, I want to mention here that the Gambia is blessed. But it is we the people who still don't understand that blessing. The Gambia is a tolerant country. We have Muslims and Christians who live side by side, who marry to one another. That is the great asset that the Gambia has. So therefore, we should be concerned about our children. We'll continue to surround this country. I personally, we want to say here that in place, when you talk, they will say, high regards for Senegal. And I always envy Senegal. Senegal Banco, after together as a family. That is what I want to see for this good. It's not encouraging. We must all stand and see to reach that atmosphere of fear is removed from the people. If you go to the village I come from, Sintet village. Sintet, we have many tribes. We have Jolas. We don't have a problem of tribal sentiments. I have friends here with me. Most of my best friends here, some of them are Mandingos. Some of them are Wolofs. So I don't care about what tribe you belong to. Then I want to pray to Almighty Allah that Allah brings our hearts and minds together. Allah brings the heart and minds of tolerance, where we will be able to tolerate each other as human beings, but not on tribal lines. To my colleagues here, my friends, certainly what I said here came from the bottom of my heart, and it's something I meant. But I want the commission to consider those appeals I have made. I remembered one Brigadier General Alaji Martin. Martin appeared before this panel. But I've never seen anybody appear before this panel who has been laid off from his work. But Alaji Martin happens to be laid off from his work from the day he left this commission. I want to appeal to the chairman and this commission to look into the plight of Alaji Martin. Certainly, I've followed his proceedings here. I've never heard where he had killed somebody. Some of the witnesses that confess killing, they are maintaining their jobs. Probably this has not come to the attention of the commission. That is why I decided to bring that forward here, so that it could be looked into.
Chairman,
commissioners, lead council and its deputy.
Lead council and normalanko.
I think I don't want to bore you with a long statement. But I want to assure you that I'll be part of those people who will be standing out there to preach peace and unity. For I feel that that is the best way forward for the Gambia. So on that note, I say a big thank you for inviting me here. My coming here was not based on a force. I wasn't forced. I was requested to appear here, and that is how I came. Thank you very much for your attention. May God bless you all. May God be your protector in your discharge of functions. May God bless the Gambia. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much indeed, General Tago, concluding remarks. Very wise and comprehensive. We thank you enormously for coming to testify. There is a general recognition that our country is a tolerant country. Our society is a peaceful society. However, for 22 years, horrific violation of human rights and abuses occurred here. In order to correct what really happened, we have to know exactly what it is that transpired in this country during that period. And that's what this commission has been mandated to do. To seek the truth of what happened. And we are going to continue doing that. With no deviation. Not any entity would intimidate us from that objective. Senior officials, like yourself, who appear before this commission, will obviously be in the hot seat, as you have been for the past 3 days. It is not going to be as a Saint Mandinka Prabewa. The hot seat that you have been in for the past 3 days, it's obvious it's going to happen. We're going to put it to assist us in establishing the truth. I will read you 2 primary objectives that the National Assembly gave this commission. It included in that list that we address impunity. We're going to come to that at some point. It also mandated us to prevent a repeat of the violations and abuses suffered of appropriate preventive mechanisms, including institutional and legal reforms. We have, for the past month or so, been looking at institutional issues.
Niya jibe nyinkari dantongol mi ale tambita be min jibe ka wolen doko bundalti.
We will continue doing that.
Be continue ko okay.
To be able to make appropriate recommendations at the end of our work.
Isaje ko nse sutendir ke kaitandi ko la mino la nyin ko la ka ke ka je ko yembula mina ngakele.
We will do it until hell freezes over.
Bakala fo jahannaba glass.
Sorry, what's that? Until hell freezes over. Well, I don't know how you're going to translate that, but I was leaving that to your interpreter. But I just want to emphasize that we are not going to be deterred from what our objective really is.
Again,
I thank you very much, General Tamba, for coming to testify before the Commission. Council, before we conclude, you have some exhibit numbers to give, I believe. Please proceed.
Yes.
Proceedings tomorrow morning, sharp 10 o'clock. Thank you all very much.